Welcome to our short video series about hand tools that you need in maintenance engineering. What we're going to do is go through this and talk to you about the basics. It's aimed at people who are just getting into the trade or interested in the trade, or maybe you're doing a bit yourself for the first time and you don't quite know what you need or what these tools are about. So this is a combination spanner, and the characteristics of it are that it has an open end or a crow's foot. It also has a ring end. These are used to tighten up and slack off hex bolts. This is a hex bolt. You can see that the bolt fits nicely into the ring end of the spanner. It has a slight bit of play, but the bolt fits snugly. You have the same again with the open end or crow's foot. You can see that we can change the orientation of the head of the bolt and it fits in. This one has a number on it, like all spanners, or at the very least not the shit ones. So this brand is Facom. I'd say they're probably upper middle of the range. Not my favorite, but a decent spanner. We can see that it's stamped 24. I'll get a pen to point at that so you can see it better. 24 at the crow's foot and 24 at the ring. So that tells us that they will undo the same size bolt. So what's it talking about when it talks about a 24mm bolt? Like I said before, it is the head of the bolt, not the shaft and the thread itself. This is an M16 with a 24mm head. We can determine that by measuring it with our vernier calipers, and you can see from this that we are 24 and change. If we then turn that around without adjusting it, we can fit that inside. So there are some do's and don'ts with a combination spanner, and we'll run through them quickly now. So what should and shouldn't you do? Well, the first and most obvious one is don't use a damaged spanner. That will end in tears. You will cry, probably for your mum, and be very miserable. Keep this clean. You don't need to eat your dinner off of it, but it is important that the spanner is kept clean so that it can work efficiently without sort of crap and build up inside of it at the risk of slipping at the open end or just not being able to mate correctly at the other end. If you want to know about mating, speak to your mum. You should always pull a spanner and not push it. If you push this spanner, all right, granted on this size, you're probably not going to have too many issues. You might wrap a knuckle. However, on a bigger size, when we get into big boy spanners, this is a 41mm spanner, you are going to do yourself and potentially someone else a mischief. Also, you're going to look like a massive when you go over because you don't know what you're doing. It's pretty obvious, and it goes without saying, that we should always match the spanner to the head of the bolt. Make sure that they are the correct sizes. As you get into maintenance engineering, you will find out there are common sizes. 24 or an M16 bolt is a common size, and you will see up through the ranges that there are common sizes that you will always go to. Never ever strike your spanners with a hammer. You wouldn't hit your granny with a hammer, and if you would, you shouldn't be in maintenance engineering. You need to get yourself sorted out. Think about what you're doing with your life. Tap it with a mallet by all means, but never a hammer. You damage this, you're only going to end up replacing it. You could crack it, you could cause more problems, and it might not belong to you. And let me tell you from first-hand experience, if you are the kind of guy that would whack one of these with a hammer and it doesn't belong to you, don't be surprised when the guy that owns it comes after you with the hammer. Don't use a cheat bar or a lever. You will see people put two spanners together. They will put the crow's foot end into the ring end and use it as an extension bar or a cheat bar, or sometimes you'll see people sleeve things like pipes or scaffold poles over the end. If you're having difficulties, there are other ways of addressing that, and that is for a future video when we talk about releasing fixings. And always buy a quality spanner. Like I say, this is a medium to upper end brand. not my personal favourite. Not really into big brand names, but I do like quality tools. And if you're in maintenance engineering, you should like them too, because they will help you get the job done. All I would say is the trick to learning about maintenance engineering as a rule is just don't bid. Thanks for watching.